Gents, thanks very much for joining us. Recently, we've been looking on the website back at that promotion year. Both of you were part of the squad. I know there was different situations with your season, Sam, and obviously yours, Connor, which we'll touch on. First of all, as we've just discussed before we came on air, you've both got small kids. So, Sam, how are you finding the lockdown so far with a little one running around?
Yeah, it's nice. We've got a nice little garden for him. He's an active little boy, so it helps that we can play in the garden with him, and it's nice to spend sort of the full day with him. I know as footballers we don't work the longest hours, but you can actually spend some sort of full days with them, and it's been good.
How are you finding the lockdown?
Yeah, it's obviously tough. As we said, like having a little boy keeps you company and keeps you busy. So that's literally, he's had me on my toes. But I actually said to my missus the other day, I've actually quite enjoyed just spending the whole time with him. I feel like, especially our season in Scotland, you're away a lot with obviously the European games, and like we play twice a week, every single week. So it's just been nice to actually spend a lot of time with him, and I feel like he's just like my little best mate now.
They're at that age as well where they're just constantly changing.
Yeah, 100%. Like he's like
see it all the time.
He's like starting talking now and like coming out with new words every day. So it's nice to actually be around and see it all.
What's his accent?
He's just mixed. Sometimes he sounds northern, sometimes he sounds like me, but I don't know what he's going to be, to be honest.
All right, well, we'll move on to the football side of things. But you joined a year apart from what I looked at. So, Sam, starting with you, you joined when Hoopier took over. And you came off the back of an amazing season at Bristol. Bristol finished mid-table, didn't they? And you still got 26 goals. And then you came into a side where I expect most people were looking towards a promotion push. And it was a completely different story. And talk to us about the frustrations during that first year with us.
It was a strange time, because everything that we were trying to do on the training pitch was looking good and feeling good, and then we get on the pitch and we'd always be we tended to concede a lot of early goals, and when we were trying to be a possession-based team, that would always go against us because teams would just sit back, and then we struggled to sort of break them down. And then the confidence left, and we were looking around the dressing room thinking, we've got such talented players here, and a lot of people, the expectation, you're right, was to be at the top of the table. So it was a tough one to get our heads around. But fortunately, we just got away from the drop zone towards the end of the year, and had to look upwards from there.
Because after scoring so many goals and then coming in, and obviously not getting the same amount of chances, so you're not scoring the goals that you probably expected to score, did you ever think at any point, I've made a massive blunder leaving Bristol for this?
Yeah.
When did that kind of happen? Because obviously it worked out in the end, but...
Yeah, for majority of that first season, to be honest. And when I was looking back at what the boys at Bristol were doing, I had such a good friendship with so many people there, and they were sort of romping the league. I was just thinking the amount of chances I would have had created for me in that system where they were playing two up front, which I was used to, and we weren't, and it was just, it was everything that I wanted to sort of continue at the new club at Brighton, but wasn't happening.
Connor, you come in at the end of that season where we have managed to stay up, and Chris is now the manager. What were you told, and how did they sell the club to you? Because I'm sure you must have looked at it and gone, well, this is a struggling championship club based on last year. And I'm sure you had offers to go elsewhere at the same time.
Yeah, but no, to be honest, obviously I was different because I was coming from, we had just got promoted out of League Two. I was a lot younger. I think I was 20, just turned 22. So yeah, it was a different situation for me. I wanted to make the next step up in my career, and I wanted to move and test myself at a bigger club. And I was lucky enough that Brighton and Albion gave me the opportunity to do that.
And then that season, that your first season with us, ended up being a phenomenal season for the club, with an agonising finish. You both played in that Middlesbrough game. Connor, what were you thinking ahead of that game?
I don't know. I remember me and Dunkey was obviously playing a lot before it, wasn't we? And yeah, Dunkey got suspended, and I remember GG played. And it was just one of those days. We all thought we could go there and win, and we all thought that that was going to happen. I don't think there was any negative thoughts around the place. That majority of that season, we were just flying, and it was, at the time, it was the lowest day of my career. I just thought there was no chance at all that we weren't getting promoted that season. Like, the bond that we had in the changing room as a team was unbelievable, and we all genuinely thought we were going up. And yeah, it was heartbreaking. The day was horrible.
Sam, you came off at half time, didn't you, in that game? Is that an injury, or was that a tactical thing?
No, it dragged at half time. Obviously, devastated, waited for the boys to go out, and then started booting the skip in the toilets. Didn't realise the manager hadn't gone out yet, and he was still in there.
What did he say?
That was tough. Pardon?
What did he say when he saw you booting the skip?
Oh, nothing. He had a second half to go and concentrate on. So sort of got that out of my system. Dunkey was in around it, like you said, he was suspended, and just got hold of me and just said, "Come on." And then we just went out, watched the second half, and I was like a cheerleader, but to no avail.
I want both perspectives on this. So, Connor, you're on the pitch,
Yeah.
the Dale tackle, and I think you came up to the ref, actually, didn't you, after the red? So, what did you make of it as it happened?
Do you know what? It's weird. I was actually watching the highlights to it the other week. Before, obviously, this whole lockdown happened. We had a game, and it was on before. I think it was our game in the Europa League, and we were all watching it, and you actually see, obviously, Mike Dean pull out the yellow card, and you just think it was just such a crucial time in the game. We just scored. The momentum was with us. You could tell as well that they were starting to wobble a little bit. The crowd was getting nervy, and it was just a crucial moment in that game where I think if it's a yellow card, you don't know what goes on and happens. With us having 11 men, but obviously he changed his mind. But the boys were actually arguing about it the other week at football. Some were saying it was a red, and some were saying it was a yellow. So,
where do you think? Do you still think it was a wrong decision?
Yeah, I still think it was a yellow card. I feel like it can look nasty, especially when it's slowed down. But he gets the ball. He has all intention to get the ball. Obviously, his follow through catches him, but I don't feel like he means to.
And Sam, what about from your perspective? Because you're on the bench, and I've seen Chris Houghton after games many a time. I've never seen him so angry. So, what was the feeling on the bench, and what was your own personal thought?
Well, we all saw the similar sort of situation. We saw him reach for his pocket, and we're thinking it's just a yellow. Yeah, it's hard, but to be fair, they got round the ref quite quick, and then the only thing that was read about it was the blood, and I think that might have changed his mind. So he had a look, saw the blood on the player, and sort of reached for the red.
How angry were people on the bench when that red came out?
Yeah, we felt particularly hard done by, away from home, especially with their crowd were on great form that day, to be fair to them.
Yeah, it was loud.
Yeah, it was loud, and just after that, we huffed and we puffed, but they were able to sort of weather the storm. But yeah, there was a lot of anger, especially from sort of the manager and Colin Calderwood. Yeah.
Before we go on to the promotion year, obviously there is then. I remember I travelled to both the games. I've mentioned it in interviews before. I remember being on the plane on the way back from Borough, and it was horrendous. It was miserable. I've never been on a plane after a game with that kind of atmosphere. And I remember being on the plane after the Sheffield Wednesday away leg, and everyone was in all right spirits as far as I could see. Everyone thought confidence still seemed quite high. Is that how you both felt going into the second leg?
Well, couldn't have gone too, not many things could have gone that sort of against us anymore with the 4 injuries, and I think we felt we were quite lucky. Not lucky, but we'd worked hard to keep it to 2. So to bring them back to our place, we knew it was going to be rocking. We knew we'd be up for it. So I think we took the 2-0 as a positive.
Connor, you went off. You were one of the 4 that went off at Sheffield Wednesday. Just remind people what actually happened to you and how come you had to go off?
I had like a tear in my quad. It was the first time I'd ever got injured. I remember I was running after a channel ball, and I think it was Forestieri giving me like a nudge, and it just missed. I just missed my step, and on the landing, I pulled my quad, and then I remember looking over, and I'm sure like only one of the physios were with me, and I looked over, and I'm sure it was Tomo was down as well, on the halfway line, and we both come off at the same time, and we're just like, oh. But no, you're right. We actually felt as if we were lucky, because I remember we had 10 men, we had people playing all over the place.
Dale and Dunkey suspended.
I remember Richie Towell was playing. I remember Bruno was playing centre half. I just remember, and I remember it was 2-0, and I was on the bench in the second half, and I remember them just passing the ball around the back, not attacking anymore and not trying to score more, and we were just like, do you know what, 2-0 you can take it, but if they get 3-4, do you know what I mean? If they would have went all the way and tried to go for it, but they didn't. I just remember them passing it around, and we genuinely thought, back at our place, we'll beat them.
Well, we don't need to go into detail on the second leg, because obviously the equaliser, Dunkey was fouled, another thing that went against us. And the season's over. We've been so close. How do you feel during that summer? And when you come back, do you genuinely think, yeah, we can do it this year? Because a lot of the times when teams miss out, the chance is gone. That was their moment.
It's a tough one, because we didn't start too quick. There wasn't a lot of business done in the off season either, but I think there was crucial bits of business done. So yeah, I think the addition, we're in pre-season, I think. Where were we? Tenerife?
Yeah.
Tenerife, yeah.
Yeah. And Muzz turns up one day, and that started getting us thinking, this guy he's just here to score goals, isn't he? Maybe that's what we were lacking a little bit in the previous season. So the competition for places and a bit more firepower, and Duffs came in. Was it that summer Duffs came in as well?
Yeah, late time, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we had
August.
Yeah, we sort of knew there was a lot more competition for places, and the squad was getting a lot stronger, a lot thicker. Anthony had time to settle in from when he came in the January before, and so we all knew what he could do. So it was tough to take, because the playoffs was sort of devastating to lose the way we did after being at the top of the table for so long. So yeah, we had to dust ourselves off and go again, and it didn't start particularly well.
You touched on it there. Shane Duffy arrived. Connor, from your point of view, what did you think when that happened? Because obviously Greer had left, so there's a gap, and you'd already filled that gap and played really well. Then Shane comes in, which I'm aware was a long-term target of the club.
Yeah.
How did you feel when that happened?
Well, I remember I was obviously injured in Tenerife, and I remember Duff's coming in, it was late, and I was still injured, and you knew really, with obviously what they spent him, it was the record sign at the time, I think, and you thought, you don't know if he was going to be good, or didn't know much about him, but I remember him coming in, and he played Newcastle and did okay, and then I remember he played against Brentford. So we played at the Amex and
lost the first 2, I think. Yeah, the first 2 games he lost both of them. It wasn't
and truthfully, I thought me and Duffs are really close. So truthfully, I thought, he's not great. If I can get back fit soon, I'll be back playing. And then after that, I think they kept about 100 clean sheets and about 110 games together. So looking back now, the business that was done was right. Duffs and Dunkey were brilliant for the club together for 3 years probably. And now he come in and he done brilliant.
Yeah, actually, I looked at both your stats from that season. Sam, you made 34 appearances. Connie, you made 10, but obviously we'll touch on why a little bit later. But the 5 championship starts you made, they were 3 clean sheets. So you were obviously still doing a job when you played. So how frustrating is it when you feel you are playing as well as you can?
Yeah, no, to be fair, but I just I knew that season, like the amount, it was like even like Dunkey will get suspended, I'd come in, we'd win, or Duffs will get suspended, I'd come in, we'd win. But to be fair, those two and the whole team are playing so well and on a run that it was kind of, you knew you was going to come back out. But at the same time, I remember after obviously the operation, Duffs got injured straight away, broke his foot. And obviously I would have been playing there, but again, it wasn't to be, and Uwe come in and done brilliantly. Yeah,
we did have a fair few decent centre-backs that season.
Yeah, we did.
That kind of cover and all the positions, that's key to a promotion year. And obviously we needed some cover after the Newcastle away game because, Sam, you got yourself sent off. Quite hilariously, actually, if I remember. But
I got kicked. Well, the first year I'm not contesting. I sort of gave the ball away and took a team foul, took a yellow card. And the second one, I'm just doing what I do, trying to be industrious, trying to chase down the keeper because I think we were a goal down. And I'm sort of running in line. I'm not even going to touch him. I'm running across to try and block the ball or just run, realising that I'm not going to get there. And then he kicks the ball and then follows through and kicks me. Goes down like a heap of stuff. And the stadium erupts and out comes that red card.
Is it still your only red card?
Yeah.
To be fair, I will say, I thought that season was going to be tougher in the Championship. So I remember Newcastle come down, Villa come down. Who else would have come down that year? But I just remember there being big teams. QPR maybe?
There was the thought of maybe we've missed our chance, especially when we started so slowly.
Yeah, we thought there's big teams this year coming into the league as well.
I can't remember the other team, but yeah.
Fulham,
it was Norwich, wasn't it?
Fulham, QPR,
Norwich.
Yeah, because Pritchard went to Norwich. And you thought, there's some big teams.
Yeah, it was. I remember it was tougher than the year before.
Yeah.
I remember that being a big conversation, but fortunately Villa weren't up to much, were they? They had one good game, and it was against us.
Yeah.
Talking about tough
we'll get to that one later.
We won't talk about that one. So, talking about the big sides that are in the league, Sheffield Wednesday away, we did talk about in that documentary. Sam, you scored a great goal. That day must have been so satisfying when you beat them at Hillsborough.
Yeah, that was one of the sort of tough. I think the season before we'd won a lot at home and we'd drawn a lot, so we went on a really long unbeaten run, but we didn't win as many games as perhaps we should have done. So that game was like a statement away from home. Big 3 points. Like the wins are what's going to get us promoted, not playing for draws. And I think we had a mismatched team in there again. Did we, Sheffield? I think was it Ollie and Siddy played in there together.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
He used to change it all the time that year. Promotion, especially start of the season.
Yeah, but Dale was always one of them.
No, he wasn't. Not at the start because there was something going on with Dale. Dale
was going to
go. Year Burnley coming for him.
Yeah,
that was a year Burnley coming from. So the start of the season, right. Dale wasn't actually playing much. But I remember it always used to change with like Baram, Ollie, Sid, and then Dale started coming back in.
Yeah. So yeah, we'd had a sort of less familiar team than the season before, maybe, but that was a big statement from us to go there and win so comfortably.
Yeah.
And do you recall Anthony's celebration? Do you remember he scored the second and then he literally ran along behind the goal in front of their fans, then up to the dugout, and he was going dabbing and everything. Went on for about 5 minutes.
He weren't normal, was he?
We changed his batteries at half time.
So you said the season started slowly. You maybe started to think, missed the chance. At what point did you both think, actually, this is going to be the year?
Birmingham away.
Oh yeah,
Birmingham away.
Fulham away. Similar sort of time, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was before.
I remember we had our Christmas do after Birmingham away, and I remember Sid saying, "We're up," and we was all like, "Oh, shut up! Don't say that." We were saying this last year, and he was like, "All right, but we're up." It was like things like this just happen when you go up. You'll always remember it. And yeah, obviously he was right. His experience was right.
I remember Anthony singing it as well on the Christmas day.
Yeah.
Very early to be singing that.
Yeah, he was right there as well.
As we get into early Feb, Sal, I think, are you injured in late January? Because you don't really, there's a few games that you miss. So you missed Huddersfield away and the Brentford away.
Yeah, I was having trouble with my calf. It was sort of one of those ones that was sort of ongoing. It would come and go. And then I went to Germany to see some genius and try and fix it that way.
So when you missed, as you said, you missed that Huddersfield defeat, and Connor, that is when your condition is discovered, isn't it? I know we touched on it before, but so what do you remember of that kind of day? Because I know the players said that you went up to Huddersfield, but you got just sitting in the stand and they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I remember I think I played a few days before it as well. Was it Cardiff and Sheffield Wednesday at home? Because I think Bruno was injured. I played a few games at right back. And then we travelled up to Huddersfield. I'm sure it was a night game, wasn't it?
Thursday night.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. And me and Dunkey were in the hotel the night before, and he was in my room. And we had these tests like the week before or in the week. And I just remember the doc knocking on my door, and he said, he was like, "Dunkey, can you leave?" And straight away, I was just like, something's up. And I just knew like the doc would never come to your room anyway, for one, unless you was ill, and then he would never say, "Dunkey, can you leave?" So yeah, the doc just said to me like, "You're not allowed to be involved tomorrow." It was like, usually I see stuff like this, but it never like equates to anything. Nothing will ever come of it. So I just didn't really think much of it. I just thought, he said we'll go to London Saturday morning, and I thought, that's fine. Like hopefully, like nothing's wrong, or I don't know, just something that they might say. The doc was saying that sometimes they give like 5% chance, and it's up to you if you want to play football. Obviously, everyone does. But no, and then so he just said that you're not allowed to be in the squad for the next day.
How long did it take you to get over the news? Like, how long did it take you to come to terms with it?
But I remember the Saturday, so we lost to Huddersfield, got back, and the Saturday morning, me and the doc went to London, and I remember Gibbo drove us down, sent the specialist, and that was when he told me that I need an operation. Like, he'd done tests and everything, and told me I needed the operation, and that day was tough. But then once I met the surgeon said to me that you can be back playing football in 6 to 8 weeks. And then from then, I just think I got my head around it that realistically it's not the end of the world, but I could have had a knee injury or anything like that would have had me out for a lot longer than it made such a big thing. Because obviously what it was, and it was hot.
So you actually got told you could come back quite early. So just that must have really helped. Because otherwise,
Yeah,
it wasn't a case of,
the hardest thing was that it was, by the time I had the operation, it was, I think, at the 30th of March, and obviously 6 weeks then took me to middle of May, end of the season. The season was done. So, but to be fair, looking back, it helped me because then I had all that summer and the pre-season then to get ready, and actually, instead of rushing back. But yeah, my heart was fine straight away. It was just the fact that obviously they broke my chest bone, so I had to wait for that to heal.
I know they told you could come back, but was there ever any kind of seeds of doubt where you thought, am I really going to be able to come back from this? Or were you just confident?
Yeah, no, as soon as I seen the surgeon and he said that obviously he's doing the operation, so I thought he obviously knows the best. And once he said that, I just always knew I was coming back. I still had, like, I think it was 3 years left on my Brighton contract, and they supported me throughout it brilliantly. And I just thought, as soon as my chest is healed, which is just like any normal bone being broken, it'll heal, then I'll just do everything I can to get myself back fit and back ready to play.
Sam, from your side of it and the rest of the squad, obviously we've had that miserable defeat on the Thursday, and then I'm assuming at some point before Brentford game, you were all made aware about what's happening to Connor. So how did you guys take it, and what did you think when you heard the news?
Well, I was up at Huddersfield as well because they were trying to turn my injury over quite quickly. And I remember I sat in the stands with Connor, and I think you told me not to say anything then. And it was all sort of quite dramatic, and sort of the first thing you think of is for the health of your mate. And be fair to Connor, he was sort of so determined that he was going to be fine, and so sort of focused on getting back and getting his career back on track, that after the initial sort of mindset back, he was telling us how confident he was in the surgeon, and it was never really a big issue, was it? Even when he did an interview with his top off in the paper, it was still a little bit cringy.
I was going to ask you about that. You've got a monster tattoo across your chest now.
Yeah.
Imagine how big it would have been if he had a chest.
I actually remember not wanting to do it as well, because obviously after the operation I wasn't allowed to do exercise for, I think it was 6 weeks before it was from the Huddersfield game to the end of March. I think it was like 6-7 weeks. There was no exercise until the operation. Then I had the operation and my chest was caved in. I felt so like wobbly and like chubby. I felt like I had no muscle left on me because I hadn't been able to do anything. And then I just remember I come back out of it. I'm just started to like get myself back round, and we'd done the interview, and I remember the guy saying, "Oh, can we just have one picture with your top off?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And I look back at that picture and think, "You look horrific. You look horrible."
So, Connor, you're already on the sideline, obviously, because of this operation. Sam, you are playing. I think your last goal for us was against Derby. And then your calf injury resurfaces after the Leeds defeat. And you miss those kind of key games. What are you both doing when QPR away, Wolves away, all these games are happening and you are enforced to watch? What do you two do?
QPR away was at yours.
Yeah.
Because we were lucky that they were all on TV.
It was all on TV, yeah.
Wolves away, we were somewhere else together.
Yeah.
They're somewhere else.
Me, Sam, and Duff were in the pub.
Are you not? Were you not supposed to be in the pub?
Yeah, it was. Like, they didn't mind. We met the coach on the way back from Wolves. Like, when they landed at the airport, we met the coach at, what's the stop off called? Hurstby Point? No.
Yeah.
It's probably just something, one of those, isn't it?
Yeah. Hickshead. We met the coach there after being in the pub and watching the game with quite a lot of Brighton fans. But we just wanted to be together because you didn't want to miss out on. Obviously, the boys were doing everything they could on the pitch, but you didn't want to just be sitting in your house watching it on your own. Do you know what I mean? You wanted to be with the lads, and obviously we're lucky enough that the three of us are all close, and obviously we were all out at the same time, so we just kept each other company.
Yeah, we FaceTimed the boys in the changing room.
Yeah.
So there's like loads of fans around us, and we're sort of jumping up and down with it was Anthony on FaceTime.
Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, but that's what it got to. Like, that's what I say. We had such a good bond that year and the year before that. Just we was always together, really, weren't we? Like everything that we did together was like we always did things as a team, and even when we did do things as a team, it was always massive groups of like. I don't know if we arranged something, it'd be the whole team. It wouldn't be like you look at some teams like 4 or 5 boys or cliques of different groups, but we would literally be with each other and out in massive groups of the team all the time.
It must have been hugely frustrating though, watching those games, especially when, you know, Pocognoli scores that free kick and those kind of iconic moments which people still talk about in terms of Albion.
To be honest, it's beyond the frustration. It's just from where we've been the year before. It's just about getting over the line. I mean, you obviously want to contribute on a personal level, but everyone's played their part throughout the season. It's just about getting over the line and getting promoted as quickly as we could.
Yeah, 100%. There was no frustration at all. We just wanted so much just to get promoted, and whoever was going to play, whoever was going to be the hero on that day, I don't think that anyone was really bothered. Obviously, personally, boys were obviously happy to be the hero. Like, you look at certain days throughout the season, I remember, like you say, Muzza, Paco against QPR, Anthony against Wolves on the Monday or on the Friday. But as a team, like even us not playing, there was no sense of anger that you wasn't involved or frustration. It was just all joy for the rest of the team.
Well, getting over the line happened in that unforgettable day. Let's start off with the final whistle, because it kind of went in stages, this celebration, didn't it? So the final whistle, what do you remember of that, Connor? Because obviously you were in the stand. Were you next to each other again, or were you separate?
Yeah, I think we were. It was me, you, and Duffy again, wasn't he? And we just got straight into the changing room. Obviously, my chest was broken in half, so I was never going to be jumping around with fans on the pitch, but just got straight into the changing room. And that's the only bit personally for me that, looking back, I wish I couldn't really join in with the celebrations as much as I would have wanted to. Obviously, with my chest and the way it was, I was a bit fragile, and looking back now at pictures, I'm always like hanging off the end, smiling, or trying not to be too close to people. But yeah, we were just straight into the changing room and the party started.
Did you go into town?
Yeah, I had Donkey's dad as like literally my security guard all night to make sure no one jumped on me.
Well, talking of jumping on people, I'm going to skip ahead to you jumping on people on the train, Sam. Famous footage. You did mention it in the documentary, but for those who haven't seen it, you had said that you were planned to do that before the game if we were already promoted.
I wanted to do it on like going up the terraces, or sort of going along the crowd. But that Wigan game, the manager had said before the game, no matter what happens, we're not celebrating today. Like, because it's not mathematical, because I think Huddersfield had to play, was it Derby, the late kickoff. And even though we'd be however many goals better off. But, I mean, when the fans came off and you see Donkey stripping down to his pants, I think you sort of realise that you're celebrating. Just the train, because this was a good sort of 3 hours after the game had finished, and we're heading into town on the train because we couldn't get any cars, any taxis in or anything. Not able to drive. And the train was mobbed, and there was just fans singing all sorts of songs. I just thought, gives a lift.
Because the final whistle went, everyone floods onto the pitch, and then you're all in the players' lounge when the Derby Huddersfield game's going on. I've seen the footage. I've seen Anthony punch a hole in the ceiling. What was that moment like for you two? Obviously, Connor, you said you have to kind of be careful, but what was that moment like? Because that was officially it.
Yeah, that was the moment that you knew, wasn't it?
It was already done. It was like phase 2 of celebrating.
Yeah, it was. That's what I was about to say. It was like basically the celebration. Just usually it calms down in the players' lounge. It calmed down. That'll be everyone was just having a drink, and then who equalised?
Butterfield.
Yeah.
Was it Butterfield equalised? And
late on.
Yeah, then it was just literally like a celebration just started again. And then I remember we went out onto the pitch, didn't we? And there were still like fans and that there in the turnstiles. So the party just basically started all over again.
It was one after the other, wasn't it? It really was.
Yeah,
that's what it felt
literally.
like all day.
Yeah.
So the train in particular is quite iconic with fans. Both of you, what was your, on that day, what is the bit, if I said Wigan at home, what's the first thing that comes into your mind? Sam, what about you first?
Probably when we were all up, went up sort of to the press area, and then you could actually look down at the pitch was covered. And then it's like, this is proper celebrations. Probably that moment, because we were all together as well. We had the full squad together, so it was irrelevant whether you played in that particular game, which we had, and it was about the season and what we had achieved.
Probably similar to Sam. Or I remember when there was a lot of us when we come out of the players' lounge and the turnstiles and all the fans came back out. But it was just a special day. It was just one thing after another. You'll never, like, there's moments you could say to me now. I remember walking through the town centre and a few of us standing on a wall and just the street was mobbed. There was literally no cars, couldn't move, and it was just everything about it was perfect.
Glenn and you had a fantastic partnership that year, and Toma as well. The year we went up, the three of you, and you seem to be able to interchange and play together. Where did Toma and Glenn rank as strike partners throughout your entire career?
Yeah, both right up there, to be fair. Been able to strike up sort of good connections with the pair of them. Always seem to know where the other one is, so we complement each other quite well, and we're very different type of strikers. And one thing that's underestimated would be their work rate as well. There was always a big onus on us working hard from the front. So we pride ourselves on how hard we worked and sort of got those connections. And that season we went up, we all chipped in with a few goals.
They prided themselves on how hard you worked. You did the running for both of them.
Another thing that happened during that promotion year, I had to make a goal of the year at it, which obviously Sidwell won. But you actually scored some fantastic goals that year, Sam, and across your Albion career. Is there one that sticks out for you?
Probably the QPR at home one.
Left foot.
Yeah, left foot one. But it was the first. I think it was the first one after the Christmas do. And on the Christmas do, we were doing some celebration. So I went over and sort of did another celebration that no one else had a clue what was going on, but we enjoyed it, and so we danced around on the pitch for a little minute.
No, we touched on that in the documentary, your celebrations.
Scoring the goal's a fun thing, isn't it? So sort of
I wouldn't
try and enjoy yourself.
I've been told it's a fun thing. So the promotion has been achieved, and you guys have written yourself into Albion history. Unfortunately for both of you, do you feel you didn't get a fair shake in the Premier League? Sam, I'll start with you. Because when I look back, you only got 30 minutes on the pitch.
Yeah. So I went into the off season thinking I needed an operation in my calf. So I had the operation and was rehabbing and thinking everything was going well. And then the exact same feeling just came back. So then I was trying to get back from that for so long, and then I got signed off, and then I tore my thigh because everything else hadn't sort of compensated. Everything else was compensated, I suppose, for something. So that was a quite significant one as well. So that straight away ruled me out until must have been October, and then system had changed. New players were in. We were close to me, and then manager obviously wanted me to get match fit somehow. And then January comes, and new players come in, and new players get more opportunities, and it was frustrating because I felt I played my part in getting us there, and then just not even a sniff. So,
Connor, what do you, when you look back at your kind of, I think you got 119 minutes when I looked.
No, there wasn't really much moaning from me. I don't know. It was Duffs and Donkey were still the number one partnership, and I think while Chris Hughton was ever the manager, that was always going to be favourite pairing. I feel like they've done so well together in both seasons, to be fair, when I was there. Even in that season, the Premiership season, I feel like there were never like games where I could really go and knock on the door and say, listen, I deserve a chance, because those two, to be fair to them, were both playing really well. But no, I had a few opportunities. I remember the Watford game will still always stick out with me as probably one of my favourite and best moments in a Brighton shirt. Making my Premier League debut, winning, keeping a clean sheet. I feel like that'll always stick out for me as a moment I'll never forget. As a kid, I wanted to play in the Premier League, and I managed to get that opportunity.
You maybe could have knocked on the door after we shipped 5 to Liverpool at home. That could maybe.
You played?
You.
No, I didn't. I played away.
But he shipped 4 then, so much better.
No, it was. But then again, you look at those games. I remember when we played Chelsea and we switched to a back three, and I played in that game. And I actually, you look at that game and you think we actually played okay, but
should have had a pen.
It was just, I remember should have had a pen. We hit the bar or the post, and I just remember thinking, you come off and you've got beat 4-0, and the quality of them was just a different level. So you could, like as we say, we conceded 5 to Liverpool, and you play against like your Man Cities. Anything could happen on a day, literally, against them. You'll have your times where you might only. I remember the first game of the season we conceded 2 to City, but that's literally backs against the wall. 90 minutes in your own half. It's, do you know what I mean? If a few more go in, you can't complain either.
The Liverpool one, we didn't deserve to lose 5-1. Sam, obviously you both said that the Wigan day and the promotion was fantastic. And I know you are hugely disappointed about maybe how the next year went. But when you look back on your time with Albion, is it more with joy and happiness, or is that bitterness from the Premier League season kind of override that?
I'll always have that lingering, that sort of all the rest of it, so many positives come out of it. So many good sort of relationships have been built there, and it's such a good club to play for. But it's always lingering at the back. Sort of felt that I had something to offer that season, and partly down to timing of injuries, and partly down to lack of being given opportunities. That will always stay with me.
It does seem like both of you, maybe your Albion careers could have potentially been a bit longer if you hadn't had the unfortunate injuries, health problems you had. Do you both feel like that?
Yeah, I feel obviously I had gone through probably 18 months of not playing regular football, which I'd always been used to before I come to Brighton, and obviously played 30 games in that first season, or 28, 30 games. So I was always used to playing regularly, and then the next 2 seasons not playing as frequently as I wanted to. I knew for my own career I had to leave. Listen, the club's an amazing club. It could have been easy to stay. Being in the Premier League and the training ground, the stadium, everything's the people there, but I knew for my own sake that I wasn't going to get the game time that I wanted at Brighton, and I had to leave and go on a new adventure and start playing football again.
I was going to ask, because no offence, Sam, when you left, I was upset you left, but I kind of saw that coming. It wasn't a huge surprise, and we'd had conversations as well during that season. Connor, when I got told you had left, obviously I was upset, but I couldn't. I was actually really shocked because I hadn't been told. I got told you might be going out on loan a few times, but I was really surprised. So, are you saying that it was you that kind of said I need out, rather than the club saying you're surplus to requirement?
Yeah, listen, I don't know if Brighton wanted to sell me or didn't want to, if it was their minds that they wanted to improve. But I, from the January, spoke to Chris Hughton and I just said to him that I need to try and get my career back on track. Obviously, I've had this operation. I haven't played regular football for 2 years. As I said, it would be easy for me to sit and be a number 3 in the Premier League and get a chance every few months. But I knew for my own sake that I had to go and play, and I just had ambitions as a footballer to play every single week and to enjoy my football again, and I wasn't doing that, obviously, when I wasn't playing.
And Sam, I'm assuming, at what point did you find out, or had you made the decision maybe after January and not really playing that you wanted to leave?
It was, like you said before, it's almost like the writing was on the wall, and you can't underestimate what not playing football as a footballer does to you. I was sort of working throughout the week, but sort of knowing you're working. You normally work towards the weekend to play. I wasn't working to anything, so I needed to get back out and play and sort of kickstart again, because I was still only, I was 29, so I'm still ambitious now, so I still wanted to sort of go as far as I can in the game. And the manager called me in over the summer and said, "Listen, I'm more than happy for you to stay around. I love having you around and stuff. I'm not saying the door's completely closed, but I can't guarantee you the game time that you perhaps deserve or that you want." I was like, "I completely respect that. I'll go and I'll see what's out there and see what other opportunities come my way."
You've seen Glenn in the Prem, into his late 30s, scoring goals. You said you're ambitious. Do you think you need to do anything to your game to adapt as you get older so that you can prolong your career and get back to that level? Or is your game set and you just need the right opportunity?
Well, I'm not going to get any taller. So yeah, the longer you're in football, the longer you're developing as a footballer. My best asset used to probably be my pace when I was younger, and now my quickest asset is probably my brain. So I'm picking things up all the time and hoping to exploit that way and trying to learn and sort of continue developing. I'm only 31. I've been back in training now and feeling good. So it'd be about opportunities coming my way, and then it's down to me taking them.
Well, gents, I really appreciate your time. Good luck with your little ones during the rest of the lockdown. Looks like it's coming to an end. Good luck next season, Connor. Good luck when you finish your season, Sam. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye-bye.